Good morning. As you listen for the next few minutes, it's my prayer you hear from God. Certainly that's more important than anything I have to say. I saw a CBS News brief about a 28-year-old real live cowboy who rode his horse to Walmart. He witnessed a guy steal a bike from a lady. So he rode after him, roped him, tied him to a tree, and called 911. The thief asked him if he had a badge or something. No, he said, just doing the right thing. I imagine this kind of bandit when I think of thief. Someone who's lurking and planning to take what's not theirs. I think of them as someone I don't know and something I can't always see coming. If you do any reading about thieves, you'll discover that the vast majority of the annual loss that results from criminal activity in business and in government are not caused by shoplifters or burglars in the United States. It's employee thieves, cloaked in many forms, who commit their crimes, which are often discovered long after their various schemes began. In other words, it's an inside job. People we know steal more from us than people we don't know. I'm thinking thieves, whether they're the kind we know or those we don't know, are people who have at least one thing in common. They want something of value for nothing. I don't think it takes much imagination to apply those thoughts to people we know, perhaps even ourselves. In the passage I'm about to read, Jesus uses the thief as a metaphor in reference to the Pharisees. You know, those religious people? I think he is also calling his followers sheep. See if you can pick out a few more metaphors. John 10, 1 through 10. Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him because they do not know the voice of strangers. Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again, Jesus said to them, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who come before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and to kill and destroy. I came that you may have life and have it abundantly. This passage has a vaguely familiar ring, right? It takes me back to the 23rd Psalm. To a shepherd who knows the sheep and who meets all the needs of the sheep. He provides food and water, a safe place to rest. And when trouble comes, and it will come, folks, he guides them safely through it. The shepherd greatly values his sheep and reveals this in his hospitality. The title shepherd is often used in reference to a king. Kings with more power than their subjects, but benevolent. They give them what they need, wanting only their trust and obedience in return. Individually, the constituents of a king offer little value to the king in comparison to the great value he can give. Perhaps you can see Jesus is the shepherd here and offers more than you can give. In a relationship with a benevolent shepherd, you shall not want. Why would you not recognize his voice over any other? I think about my lifetime, those I love and care for the most, how easy it was to pick their voice out of a crowd of noisy people. I wanted to hear them, and I knew them. In a book, Kisses from Cake, I was struck by a 20-something missionary who adopted 14 little girls and lived in an African community. Every child called this gracious woman Mama. And she loved so many. Even so, she would drive by a group of school children on the road headed home, and she could pick out every one of her adopted children by their voice, as I am sure they knew her voice over all the others. So the sheep know the shepherd's voice. If we follow Jesus, we know his voice, and we can separate it from all the other noises vying for our attention. Perhaps the gatekeeper is God, the Father, who also knows the shepherd, who sent the shepherd on a mission to round us all up and care for his sheep. Jesus states emphatically that he is the gate. This takes me to another statement of his found in Matthew 7:13. Narrow is the gate. And warning in verse 15 to watch out for false prophets, thieves who are dressed in sheep's clothing but are not sheep at all. Folks, I'm thinking there are at least three kinds of people. One of those who wants something for nothing. Two, those who want fair trade. They'll give value for value, but when trouble comes, they take their trade and go. Three, those that give far more than they receive, like a shepherd. For it is better to give than receive, right? So I ask myself, who am I? I'm probably all three at different times. But Jesus is definitely number three, the great giver. He gave his all, his life, for a sinner like me, a lost cause, a dead man. I'm to be like Christ. Lord help me. Let me ask, who are you? This world has a great giver in Jesus. He calls us to be his hands and feet. There is and will be plenty of opportunity to be a giver in the wake of this pandemic. Let's be found faithful. And remember, as you do it to the least of these, you do it for the shepherd. It is not more than he did for us, but it is the act of trust and obedience. Be blessed by our shepherd and go be a blessing. Give boldly, more than those you serve could ever give back. Amen.